Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Intersentia. Now, Intersentia are an important publisher. They are based in Antwerp, but also in Cambridge in England. They produce European law books for practitioners and academics, which are of a very high quality. I'm always delighted to be able to review their work. And today I'm looking at a book from our old friend Margaret Brinig, and she has produced the International Survey of Family Law for 2020. This is an important book because I practice in family law here in England and Wales, and I'm always interested to see what the problems are across the jurisdictions, because of course what I deal with was also covered by the Hague Convention and the problems of taking, effectively in my the work I deal with, children out of one jurisdiction and into another, because many of the clients I have are people from other parts of the world who are actually living in this country, in Britain. Now, the International Survey of Family Law probably has been a publication many of you have seen before. Now, I've given the title for this review, A Superb Annual Survey of International Family Law. And of course, as I said, it's been edited by Margaret Brinig with a lot of help from many people. Let's have a look at the book. It's a paperback, again, there it is there. You can see, and it's quite a light book. That's the spine. And then you probably can't make very much out on the back, but I shall refer to a little bit of what's there in a minute. The back of the book does have an index, and it's by page numbering. That's the index at the back, and the book runs to just under 400 pages. There's the index start, just there. You can probably just make that out. Then you've got the various chapter headings. You can see here that we've got footnoting. If I go to the front of the book, this is the front page here. This has been written, of course, published on behalf of the International Society of Family Law, which is listed there. And you can see this is the 2020 edition. And as it says, it's a survey, so it's giving you some indication of what is happening in this particular area of law. There's the blurb about the book. Then there's a preface. And of course, Margaret starts by talking about COVID and this massive problem, the spread throughout the world of this virus and the effect it's had. And I'm not going to speculate too much on what they're saying here, because they're talking about individual countries, the effects. And as I'm recording this in December, we have the vaccine and we're hoping things will change in 2021. Margaret wrote the actual preface in September, when we just come out of one big lockdown, and we've had two lockdowns in UK, and of course Europe at the moment is having another wave of the problem. So it's not over by any means, but it has an effect, of course, on family law. There's the contents section, and there's a lot of detail looking at various countries, starting with Australia, A to Z, running all the way through France, Korea, Hong Kong, Germany, Scotland, so obviously because of specific jurisdictions, the UN Committee on the Rights of Children and so forth. And you can see a lot of information is put in there. Then after that you've got a list of the very substantial number of contributors, some of whom I'm sure you will know, very well-known people, and very much a very large number of people involved in this, very substantial number of contributions all the way through. And then you get to the book itself. It starts with Australia, and this is actually written by Grant Reithmuller. In search for property in the labyrinth of the discretionary trust. You see, you can't get away from the common law, can you? All of the influences of English law. But again, you can see you've got a mini index, and then you've got the basic information. There's a resume, in other words, a very short, condensed view of what's actually in this. And in fact, the resume is actually written in this case, it's written in French initially, and then there are a number of other, then it reverts to English. So you do have more than one language that is actually produced in the work. And as I say, running through the book, you can see that there are some fairly substantial footnotes all the way through the book. And for instance, this is Germany, and they're looking at gender identity, sexual orientation and parentage, which is of course a very big issue in the 21st century, which it was an important issue, but it's certainly become a very significant matter in the 21st century. So what do we say about the book in short sort of comment form? Well, the International Society of Family Law published this work. They're an independent, international and non-political scholarly association who have dedicated themselves to the study, research and discussion of family law and related disciplines. So therefore anybody, I think, who's involved in family law will find this book of some interest, depending on what you're looking for and depending on what your practice is like. The Society's membership currently includes professors, lecturers, scholars, teachers, researchers from more than 50 different countries, and they give a unique opportunity to people to network within what is the truly international family law community, which is actually represented here. Now, we've reviewed this work before in previous editions, and I'm delighted to review this one because the International Survey for 2020 is the annual review from the International Society, and it brings together reliable and clearly structured insights into the latest and most notable developments in family law from across the world. And that's basically what you're going to get, because chapters are prepared by an international team of selected experts in the field, usually covering 20 or more jurisdictions for each edition that we've got. And of course what it says on the back, the interesting point here is it says the 2020 edition addresses issues that relate to the whole fabric of family life, and these are the areas that it covers because it depends in your practice what you're looking for. It's surrogacy, assisted reproduction and adoption, to areas such as the care of vulnerable adults and elderly people. And of course, as Margaret says, the chapters are particularly diverse, dealing with family formation, functions of intact families and families during or post dissolution, in other words when they've broken up, and that's when the difficulties come because there can be no agreement. Then obviously other chapters look at the protection of children, which is an area that I'm involved in, and also there's a fairly high level of scholastic expertise put on display here. I found this a particularly useful book, and of course Margaret Brinig is Professor of Law at the University of Notre Dame, and of course she's an elected member of the American Law Institute and part of the Executive Council of the International Society of Family Law. And as she said right at the beginning in her preface, the difficulty has been with the huge amount of difficulty with deaths, grave illnesses, family violence and economic challenges which have resulted from COVID. So I think it's very useful that we have this book available to us as we embark on 2021, which we hope will be a better year for everybody. Do read the book, and once again thank you to everybody who's been involved in it. I'm very pleased to be able to review this, and a big thank you to Intersentia for still continuing to publish these vital works. Thank you to all. Bye-bye.